If you can't explain it in simple terms, I think either you don't understand it or you're trying to make it sound complicated for your own reasons.
The example I always go back to is like when you ask somebody, like, explain what's in cost of goods sold or how you get to gross margin. Like, that's my favorite example of people being super hand wavy of like what's going on in there. And you're like, you're trying to make this sound complicated just because you're not sure yourself what's going on.
I think so too. I remember when I worked at Procter Gamble, there was this amazing, the P&G kind of lived by like one pagers. You would write these documents to explain things. Actually sent us to training classes on how to write a proper one pager. And then I'd laugh because people would send me one pagers now as pre-reads and they're like 8 pages long and I like want to throw it out.
That's Amazon, 6-page or whatever.
Yeah, I've heard that reputationally. But anyway, I remember there was one internal memo that got circulated from the CFO at the time. It was not the CEO, but it was a great memo that basically he was just blasting everybody for the pre-reads. And he was like, look, if you send it to me in a pre-read and then go through it again with me, once I'm in the room, you're either assuming I didn't read it or you're just trying to be heard. And then he was like, look, if you can't explain it, the business decision in 1 page or less, either you don't understand it or you think I don't understand it, but you should be able to explain anything kind of that concisely. And so usually I'm kind of like, things are really not that ultimately all that complicated, I think.
Yeah. And it gets even worse when people start throwing around acronyms. Like if you need an acronym playbook for where you work, like I wouldn't do well there.
Run the Numbers is a mostly LLC production. Yelling an intro by Fat Joe. Artwork by some AI thingamajig. Podcast and video editing is done by Cleancast at cleancast.io. Nothing said on this podcast is intended to be business or investment advice. It's the sole opinion of me, a guy who feeds his dog too much ice cream and has a history of net operating losses, LOL. If you like this podcast, please hit subscribe. It would mean a lot to me. And also check out mostlymetrics.com. That's my newsletter where I explore business models and financial metrics. Thanks for riding with me. Share this with your friends. Peace.